Right now in WRAL, fear and sadness after two mass shootings in Texas and Ohio. We have new information about how the attacks were carried out. Mike?
Oh, Gerald, another round of heavy rain rolling on by with flood advisories ongoing right now in a few spots. We'll outline those coming up in full weather in a few minutes.
Your attorney said you're a nice guy, but really what you are is a crook. You're a thief.
A judge had no mercy for a Cary man who embezzled millions of dollars. We'll show you how he stole from his own employer and what he spent the money on. WRAL News at 4 starts now.
I'm Rosalia Federa in the breaking news tracker. I'll have the latest on a bank robbery here in Raleigh.
This is WRAL News, your number one source for local news.
Thunderstorms are making their way over parts of the area, and it could affect your evening commute. This is a live look at Fayetteville, where the rain started coming down within the past hour.
4 counties are under a flood advisory, including Durham, which you can see from our live camera there. WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays and Amy Wilmoth both here to explain what else we're watching. We'll start with Mike.
Well, Catherine, we have a bit of energy in the upper atmosphere that was with us yesterday that produced showers and storms. It's with us again this afternoon, and it is producing thunderstorms that have heavy rainfall. In fact, enough heavy rain to produce some minor flooding. Let's zoom into those locations that are being impacted right now. Talking about Durham County, Granville County, you can see the cloud-to-ground lightning across southern Granville County, the heavy rainfall across Durham County. There are 2 flood advisories around the triangle right now. The first one is until 6:15. This includes Durham County, Granville County, and Orange County. Rainfall rates with this system coming down at about 2 inches per hour, and there may be an additional inch to an inch and a half of rain before the rain starts to let up before 6:15. And then over Wake County, this was just issued a short time ago, impacting central and northwestern Wake County, including RDU, Cary, Morrisville. Here in WRAL, we've had some heavy rainfall. This advisory is until 6:45. Rainfall has been about 1 inch already, with 1 to 2 more inches before this expires at 6:45. The rainfall rate's about 2 inches per hour. The end result would be some minor flooding, and then also in Fayetteville, heavy rain rolling on by in Cumberland County. That has helped to issue a flood advisory as well until 9:15. Some of the rainfall there has been about 1 inch to 2 inches, and maybe another inch to an inch and a half possible by the time we get to about 5 or 5:15. So the bottom line is, as you're heading out this evening, make sure you tune to us. Make sure you have the WRAL Weather Center Alert app. There is the potential for very heavy rainfall. The end result will be some flash flooding. Amy's here now with a look at the cameras and also the potential for rain through the evening. Amy?
Right. We first want to get you started with the Fayetteville Skycam. You just showed that radar picture, Mike, and it showed the heaviest rain east and southeast of town. Still some dark clouds here. Just a short time ago, it was really coming down, and that's why they issued that flood advisory. The National Weather Service issuing that advisory until 5:15 this evening. We've had some heavy rain here at the TV studios at the WRAL Gardens. Looks like it's lightening up a little bit, but Wake County included in that flood advisory until 6:45. This is a look at downtown Raleigh. Just about 2 minutes ago, you could barely make out any buildings. So still the rain coming down over downtown Raleigh, but not quite as heavy as it was just a short time ago. We also have some dark clouds over Apex, some thunderstorms building around the Apex area. So storms possible for you as well. It's stormy over RDU. So check in ahead of time if you have some flights this evening. We'll have thunderstorms through about 9 o'clock, temperatures in the 80s and upper 70s. Then we should start to dry out overnight tonight. But we have some fog on the way tonight, and then more thunderstorms possible for the middle of the week. I'll have more on that coming up.
All right, Amy, thank you. You can take WRAL's weather coverage with you anywhere on our weather app. You can watch the latest forecast or check out the radar. You can also get weather alerts based on your location. The WRAL weather app is available for Apple and Android devices.
I'm Rosalia Federa in the breaking news tracker, where the Raleigh Police Department is investigating a bank robbery. This is on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, right near South Raleigh Boulevard. This is the SunTrust Bank in this plaza here. I'm going to give you a closer look at that bank. And then the Raleigh Police Department has this whole plaza parking lot taped off. They're not letting anybody in. You can see all these police cars lining this parking lot. I talked to some people who were in the laundromat, which is right next door to the bank, and they told me that police came in and told them to leave. And it looks like they've evacuated this whole plaza. Just a few cars left here that are not police cars. I'm working to get information about this suspect. What we know right now is that there is one suspect and no one was hurt. I'll be following this and be sure to update you if we have any other information. Back to you.
The earth shall soon
mass shootings in 24 hours.
Let's go. I want to just find my mom. Somebody needs to tell me where she is. I want to know if she's dead or alive.
Today, the pain and emotion of survivors in Texas and Ohio.
We are blessed. We are blessed because we're alive.
Sadness turns to frustration.
There are people that are getting access to guns that shouldn't be.
Hate has no place in America.
Two cities are in mourning today after separate shootings killed dozens of people and injured many more. It happened in a matter of hours over the weekend.
The first happened Saturday morning inside a crowded Walmart store in El Paso, Texas. Today, the death toll from that shooting rose to 22 people. Hundreds of people lined up at the state capitol in Texas today to donate blood in honor of the victims.
And then 1,500 miles away in Dayton, Ohio, a gunman opened fire in a popular bar district, killing 9 people, including his own younger sister. Today, President Trump weighed in on the violence. As Camilla Bernal explains, he condemned the actions and proposed new legislation regarding the death penalty.
We are outraged and sickened by this monstrous evil.
President Trump speaking out in the wake of the weekend's 2 deadly mass shootings, condemning racism and white supremacy.
These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America.
As the FBI investigates the El Paso shooting as domestic terrorism and as a possible hate crime, the president proposed capital punishment for perpetrators.
Today, I'm also directing the Department of Justice to propose legislation ensuring that those who commit hate crimes and mass murders face the death penalty.
Today, the death toll in El Paso rose again.
Unfortunately, these wounds have been devastating and major, and we are deeply saddened to be here today to have to tell you that 2 patients have passed.
Meanwhile, as the memorial outside the Walmart in El Paso grows, residents come together to mourn and fight back.
They will not make us fearful. We know that we can only conquer hatred by love and by unity.
In El Paso, I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Now in Dayton, Ohio, investigators say they don't know if the suspected gunman Connor Betts targeted his younger sister or not. She also lost her life that night. In El Paso, Texas, authorities are still looking for a motive as well as for the suspected gunman, Patrick Cruces.
A UNC professor has dedicated her research to online extremism.
WRAL's Ken Smith continues our coverage of the mass shootings after a conversation with UNC professor Alice Marwick.
Professor Alice Marwick has been studying online extremism, and she says the mass shootings over the weekend are the result of growing online extremism in recent years. Marwick says shutting down a website like 8chan that's linked to El Paso and other shootings is just a small resolution to a complex issue. She says as a country, we have to meet young people where they are and figure out why so many are drawn to online message boards that promote extremism and hatred.
We know the white supremacists have been using the internet since the internet came to be. But now there are these places where young people aggregate and where these ideas are spread. And in a lot of those environments, this extremism can really flourish.
Marwick says while the websites are part of the problem, she says other forms of political discourse could be fueling online extremism. Marwick says now might be the time for the U.S. to consider de-radicalization programs that target white supremacy. Ken Smith, WRAL News, Chapel Hill.
Marwick's research continues with the launching of the Center for Information Technology and Public Life. She says the research will include social media, misleading news and information, and the impact it could have on democracy. Coming up on WRAL, what we often see after a mass shooting, a surge in gun sales. We'll tell you why this happens and what customers are telling a local gun store owner. That's ahead at 4:30.
I'm Mark Boyle in the Live Center. Stocks dropping 3% today. A really rough start to the week. Here's the Dow, down nearly 800 points. We'll start over here this morning where things were up and slowly declined throughout the afternoon, dropping around 900 points just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, slowly rebounding to close out here, as we mentioned, around 700 points. Over here, take a look at CNBC's website. Dow plunges 760 points in the worst day of 2019 as the trade war intensifies, and they're talking about the trade war with China. This is a tweet from Donald Trump. China is intent on continuing to receive the hundreds of billions of dollars they've been taking from the United States with unfair trade practices and currency manipulation. Also on the China trade war, China countered Trump's plus tariffs with cheaper currencies. So that, again, is driving much of the stock sell-off. Certainly a bad start to the week. We'll keep you posted as things go from here. Investors really are paying attention to this right now. Back to you.
Okay, Mark, thank you. It is the largest embezzlement case in Wake County history.
And the financial manager of a Cary company stole nearly $6 million from his employer over a 5-year period. Hugh Johnson's trial was scheduled to begin today, but instead the case was resolved.
WRAL's Amanda Lamb joins us live from the Wake County Justice Center to explain what happened. Amanda?
Gerald and Catherine, just before jury selection was supposed to start today, prosecutors offered Johnson a plea deal, and he accepted it. In return, they dropped those embezzlement charges against him. Now, he pleaded guilty to 8 counts of obtaining property by false pretenses. The charges stem from Johnson, who was a financial manager, stealing more than $5.8 million from his employer, BMG LabTech, between 2012 and 2017. Prosecutors say he spent the money on everything from fancy restaurants to high-dollar vacations to clothing and gifts. At the sentencing, the judge made it very clear that he believed Johnson's actions were despicable.
You weren't a modern-day Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. You're just a thief who was greedy. You're not going to be eating at Ruth Chris for the next 140 months.
Now, the judge ordered Johnson to pay back the money. In order to do this, he will eventually be on work release during his prison stay. He was sentenced to a minimum of 11 years in prison. And the judge went on to say that stealing from people you know, people who trusted you, well, that is the worst kind of thief. Gerald.
All right, Amanda, thank you.
Well, it is a troubling trend in this country, the rise of online hate groups.
How virtual forums are causing devastating real-world consequences. Tonight at 5 o'clock on WRAL, we explore how it is unveiling a digital breeding ground for domestic terrorism. Plus,
after 2 months of searching, Mario Orsino has his 4-year-old daughter back in custody, but he says it's a battle he's been fighting for years.
It's a system made to favor mothers. There wasn't any actual facts stating that I was a danger.
What he hopes to gain by sharing his story.
And we take you live outside from our traffic camera. This is a look at I-40 at South Saunders Street, and you can see it is just very dreary out there. Wake County is under a flood advisory right now. The rain is coming down. We are heading into the heart of rush hour, so be careful and be patient. We'll have more weather coverage in just a few moments. We'll be right back. A woman accused of driving her car into a massage envy salon last month appeared in court today. 29-year-old Unikia Lee is charged with assault with intent to kill and with injuring personal property. She was arrested Friday and bonded out of jail. People who were in the business when the car crashed through the front window described the scene as total chaos. Investigators say Lee was a disgruntled former employee. She's hired a lawyer. She's due back in court August 26th.
gun shop owners in our area say they are seeing increasing sales following the 2 mass shootings over the weekend. WRAL's Aaron Thomas is live at Fuquay Gun & Gold. And Aaron, you talked with the owner who says more people than usual are coming in to buy guns now.
Yeah, Gerald, even just today, we saw many people coming in to get their background checks and trying to purchase their guns here at Fuquay Gun & Gold. Now, the owner, Clay Osley, says that this momentum began over the weekend. He's contributing this surge in, gun purchases to 2 factors. He says that people are fearing for their safety, and there's also a fear of gun control on these assault-style weapons. Now, this Osley tells me that he's been selling guns for 17 years. He says that it's typical for these gun sales to spike when mass shooting events happen. Everyone interested in purchasing a gun has to go through and pass an FBI background check before leaving the facility with the gun. And this store does sell assault-style weapons. I asked the gun shop owner what's being done to make sure these type of guns don't end up in the wrong hands. He tells me that if he and his employees have any reason that a person will use the assault-style weapon for something other than sporting purposes, they will deny that purchase. One man I spoke with today says that he came in to purchase a gun for his safety, and it's something he says he never considered owning before.
It gets real. Sometimes, you could be in the face of danger. You could be in harm's way, whatever the case may be, and you have to defend yourself.
And at 5, find out why the gun shop owner says that now is the time to purchase a gun rather than waiting till later. Gerald?
Aaron Thomas live in Fuquay Arena. Thank you.
I'm Mark Boyle in the Live Center monitoring the rain that's moving through our area right now. We're just outside of downtown Raleigh, and this is what it looks like. You can see the rain coming down, and it came down fairly quickly here at the WRAL studios. And I want to show you, this is Carter Finley Field over here. Live pictures. You can see in the distance, it looks stormy and it looks dark, and all of this is going into the evening rush hour commute. Let's switch over to our live pictures right here from our traffic cameras. I-40 at US 1. You can see it is not a very clear picture, folks, and you can see those red brake lights as people slow down and trying to keep things under control as we go into the afternoon commute. We'll keep you posted as these storms pop up. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
That tells a good deal of the picture out there, as does what's behind us here.
Right. And I was here for the morning commute today. We just had some light rain and it caused issues. So bad timing with this heavy rain and multiple flood advisories in effect for parts of the viewing area. Let's get right to the radar right now. We have some heavy rain. We're going to focus on a couple of spots, and one jumps out at you. It's north of Raleigh right now, an area of a lot of lightning and some very heavy downpours. It's southern Granville County with all of that lightning. The heaviest rain just east of Butner at this point. At least there's some motion to this, so it's not sitting over the same area for hours and hours. That's why we don't have the flash flood warning, but still the flood advisory in effect for this particular area until 6:15 this evening, but it's moving a little bit to the east. Some very heavy rain here and a lot of lightning. So here are the two flood advisories that we have in effect. The heaviest rain has moved out of Durham. It's moved out of Chapel Hill, but that flood advisory going until 6:15 this evening. We'll have to see if they extend that a little bit eastward to include the rest of southern Granville County. Also a flood advisory for part of Wake County until 6:45 this evening. It does include Raleigh. It includes Apex. It includes Garner and Morrisville with the heaviest rain just making its way into Raleigh in about a few minutes into downtown Raleigh. We've already had some heavy rain, and this line is headed in our direction. We have some lightning just starting to show up. So this is developing even further as I speak. Right now, it's moving to the east very slowly and producing up to 2 inches of rainfall per hour. Another area we've been watching is in our southern communities. A flood advisory in effect for Cumberland County until 5:15, but the heaviest rain has now moved east of Fayetteville and is just south of the Stedman area. We'll let you know if they extend that eastward to include Stedman. Here's a look at Futurecast. Just plan for some hit and miss thunderstorms through the evening commute until around 10 o'clock tonight. This is 9 o'clock tonight. Scattered showers, a few lingering thunderstorms. 10 o'clock, we'll still likely have some showers on the radar. Beyond that, it quiets down. And for tomorrow, some drier air moves in. So perhaps put that umbrella away for one day. A 20% chance for some rain tomorrow. We bump it back up to a 40% chance on Wednesday, followed by some 20% chance of rain for both Thursday and Friday. Here's a look at some storms over RDU right now. Some very heavy rain over the airport. Just a short time ago, I heard the rain really coming down here at the TV studios. We're about to get another round here in downtown Raleigh. Here's Wake Forest. There's some rain headed your way as well. You can see some dark clouds here in the distance, and temperatures just depend on if you've had some rain yet. We're in the 70s where we've had some showers and thunderstorms. 85 and very steamy in Goldsboro, though. 74 in Raleigh where we have some rain, and 82 in Siler City. So some storms early tonight, then some patchy fog possible. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s overnight tonight. Just be aware that we could have some fog develop again for tomorrow morning's commute, similar to what we had today. And then tomorrow, it's mainly dry. We just have a 20% chance for some rain, starting off with some fog, then sunshine in the afternoon. It's going to be hotter, a high of 90 for tomorrow. So our rain chances go away, our temperatures go up. It's still going to be hot with a decent chance for some rain on Wednesday, staying in the 90s for the rest of the weekend to the weekend, maybe a couple of storms on Sunday, and then Monday a high of 93 and looking mainly dry.
Okay.
Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks. Let's start to keeping you safe on the roads.
How North Carolina leaders are working to bring deadly crashes to an end in our state.
Plus, have you gotten a text from your number neighbor? We'll explain a trend that's taking off. It involves texting a random person. We'll have that ahead in What's Trending. All right, time now for a look at What's Trending.
A powerful message for Washington, D.C., and it was not from a lawmaker.
Congress, do something now. End gun violence. Let's go.
After scoring a goal against D.C. United, Philadelphia Union midfielder Alejandro Bedoya ran over to a microphone and said, "Hey, Congress, do something now. End gun violence. Let's go," as you just heard. Bedoya's message comes after the recent mass shootings. See, he grew up in Weston, Florida. about 15 minutes from Parkland, where 17 people were killed last year at Stoneman Douglas High School.
All right, have you gotten contacted by your number neighbor? Do you know what a number neighbor is?
Is someone whose number is similar to yours?
Yeah, right. So it's, it's one digit off, right? Well,
Yeah.
this is a trend that's taking off online. People texting their number neighbor, which is, as we mentioned, a number one digit off your own. The texting interactions are being posted online. Some of them are friendly, others not so much.
Yeah, one person texted, "You're my number neighbor, what's up?" They said, "Number neighbor, we have the same number except the last digit. It is the next one down or up. You're my number neighbor." The person responded, "There are a lot of weird people on this earth. This is a working phone. Don't text me again or I'll call the police."
Not joking around. Others more friendly. This person texted their number neighbor, and they responded saying, "Hi neighbor, I baked you a potato casserole to welcome you to the neighborhood."
And this one is pretty good. After a text from a number neighbor, the person responded, "You're a real number. I have to apologize now. I use your number when stores ask me what's my phone number." The person responded, "No problem. I do that too."
I do that too.
Do you?
I always give an old number.
There you go. So if you ask for her number in a store or anywhere else.
Someplace in New Jersey is going to ring. Still to come, election fraud in the 9th District. The 7 people accused all appeared in court today. We'll have a live report with the charges they're facing.
And plus, a Fayetteville woman gives her 4-year-old child to a pimp. We'll explain why she had partial custody of the child in the first place, even though she had a police record.
You're watching WRAL, the Triangle's #1 source for local news.
Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Mays. A flash flood warning has now just been issued for Wake County until 7:30. Here's the wide view of the radar. We're going to zoom in to Wake County. And of course, Amy and I have been telling you about the flood advisory that was in effect for Wake County until 6:45. Well, that's been upgraded to a flash flood warning. Now, you got to remember that we had all that heavy rainfall last week that prompted the flash flood warning. So the ground's already saturated. Plus, with this very heavy rainfall that you're seeing here moving into more of an urban area, which is Raleigh, we do have that flash flood warning. So let me do 2 things. Let me clear that off and let me outline it because we can't see the green polygon all that well. This is the aerial outline of the flash flood warning again that we are seeing now for parts of Wake County. So if you're watching from Bayleaf, Wake Forest, getting over North Raleigh, the Leesville Road area, Cary, Apex, you have that flash flood warning in effect until again 7:30. According to the National Weather Service, up to 1 inch of rain has already fallen with an additional 1 to 2 inches possible within the next hour. Flash flooding is expected to begin shortly, especially in the urban centers like Raleigh, Cary, Apex, and Wake Forest. You have to remember a lot of these areas have concrete and the water won't soak in. It'll just run off and the end result is flash flooding. So again, that flash flood warning is in effect for parts of Wake County until 7:30. It is actually central Wake County. Amy's going to have more about this and her full weather coming up in a few minutes. We'll continue to monitor this. If there are any changes, we'll break in and let you know what's going on. Gerald, Catherine?
All right, everyone's phone just went off with that warning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. It has been a wonderful weekend for the father of a missing 4-year-old girl in Fayetteville.
And Mario Racinos picked up Aubriana from Texas on Friday. He has not let her out of his sight since. WRAL Fayetteville reporter Gilbert Bays joins us now live from the Bureau after speaking with the father about his long-running battle for custody of his daughter. Gilbert.
Well, Catherine, you know, that battle starts with a court record. Carmen Lowe's record dates back to 2013, and there's a couple of misdemeanor child abuse cases associated with her record, but those were all disposed of without any conviction. Still, the father says that that criminal record should have been a red flag, or at least a yellow flag to the court system of the mother's lack of ability to be able to take care of that child. Now, we're talking about Fayetteville police. They have charged Lowe with felony custody violation. She's also charged with promotion of prostitution in Louisiana. That's part of an FBI human trafficking case. Police say she gave the 4-year-old to a pimp to settle a drug debt. Now, Mario Racinos was granted sole custody in April. He reported his daughter missing to Fayetteville police on May 24th when Lowe didn't return her from a scheduled visit. Now, despite his concerns for the child's safety, an Amber Alert wasn't issued for several weeks.
It's very hard to prove that a mother abducted her own child. I mean, regardless of the reports that DSS had, regardless of the danger that they already, they had situations that stated on document how she was on drugs and prostituting and she was endangering a child, it still wasn't enough.
Now, authorities located Ariana Friday at a home outside of Texas to belong to her, the mother's pimp. Now, the child was unharmed and has spent this weekend reconnecting with her father at their Fayetteville home. Now, Racinos is working to get full custody of the child. And I talked with a couple of judges about this case and just about child custody in general. They did not want to go on camera, but Catherine, coming up at 5:30, I'll share with you their thoughts.
Look forward to hearing what they had to say. Gilbert Bay's live in Fayetteville. Gilbert, thank you.
You heard Mike talking about the storms coming through the area and the flash flood warnings. This is a live picture of Apex right here, and you can see in this video live pictures coming in right now, that rain coming down as we go into the afternoon commute. We've been watching people come out of their stores and businesses here and running to their cars trying to avoid the rain. In our last live shot here in the live center, this camera right here was dry. Now we can see the rain droplets as that storm coming over Carter Finley Field here in the Raleigh area. And we also showed you this. Look at this right here. It's essentially a whiteout, I-40 and US 41. If you draw your attention down here, those are the cars barely moving as this storm intensifies in different areas of our viewing area and moves through. One of our photographers, Andrew Cumby, he got stuck in the rain outside in the parking lot here at WRAL, and you can see that the rain came so quickly, it was coming into the storm drains. And you talk about the flash flooding, we've been hearing about this all across the area. The rain comes down so quickly and causes a lot of issues, especially when there are so many cars out on the road right now. We'll keep you posted here in the live center and in the weather department throughout the afternoon newscast. Back to you.
Mark, thank you. Bringing the number of deadly crashes on North Carolina roads to zero. That is the goal of hundreds of traffic safety professionals who are gathering all week in Raleigh. WRAL's Emmy Victor spoke with one of the advocates to learn how they plan to do that.
Wake County is home to some of the busiest roadways in North Carolina. Take, for example, here in Cary, where you can see I-40 and US 1. Experts are looking into how to reduce or eliminate crashes from interstates to roads in our neighborhoods. During the conversations, experts plan to look at what other towns, counties, and states are doing to prevent deaths on the road. One of the advocates, Marianne Carth from Rocky Mount. She lost her 2 daughters 6 years ago when a truck hit their car and got lodged underneath. The truck's underride guard failed. She's since been pushing for more laws to make sure trucks have improved safety features.
When the car collides with the truck, there's a height difference. So the car just slides under, and the first point of actual impact is the truck against the windshield, and that can't stop a truck.
The conversations, which also include impaired drivers or drivers with medical conditions, are going to be part of a 4-day conference happening at the Raleigh Convention Center. Emmy Victor, WRAL News, reporting in Cary.
Paramedics are rolling out a new tool for patients.
And still to come, the vehicle that looks like an ambulance but is so much more than that. We'll show you what it offers on the inside.
Plus, incredible video of a boy whose curiosity got the best of him. How he was rescued after falling into a manhole.
You're watching WRAL News.
Paramedics in one Colorado area rolled out a new tool this summer. It's called the Advanced Resource Medic, or ARM car for short.
As Jennifer Meckles reports, the vehicle looks like an ambulance but works more like an urgent care center on wheels.
Donna Johnson is taking a lap.
This is the second time I've done this today.
A lap through the halls of her senior living center in Lakewood.
Yep.
Today is a good day, but some days are tougher.
Wasn't feeling the best. My blood pressure seemed to be acting up.
A few weeks ago, her blood pressure prompted a call to 911. Paramedics with West Metro responded, and they called in a special team.
Her symptoms were consistent with a UTI and some dehydration. And then that's what we ended up treating her for there at the house.
At her house, not at a local emergency room, said Kimmel Brent.
Yeah, so
he's running West Metro's Advanced Resource Medic program. He calls this the ARM car.
Yep, an urgent care on wheels.
No need for an ER visit.
We can look at their electrolytes, their kidney function, how the red blood cells are doing, stuff like that.
The ARM car team can stitch up wounds, treat infections, run tests.
So we have various medications.
And even prescribe medication. Brent says it's a time and money saver for patients and frees up first responders for other critical calls. The first year of the program, they modified a traditional ambulance. Now,
this is their new ambulance.
They've got their own. And Donna was one of the first patients to use it.
It was so much more convenient to do it here than it was to have her have to take me to the hospital.
A trip she was happy to skip. and get back to those hallways at home.
It's just so much better to be able to stay home.
And that was Jennifer Meckles reporting. Brent says this service is spreading around the country, and payment for arm car treatment is comparable to urgent care. He says they take all forms of insurance, Medicare and Medicaid. Amy?
This is a live look at our Apex Skycam. Rain coming down very heavily there. They are included in the flash flood warning that we have in effect for parts of Wake County until 7:30 this evening. We're going to take a tour of the radar and let you know when these thunderstorms will die down coming up.
Good afternoon. I'm David Crabtree. With each passing hour, we continue to look deeper into why mass shootings continue to happen. And coming up at 5 o'clock, we take a closer look at the rise of online hate groups and how that speech, protected speech, can lead to devastating consequences. And then at 5:30, Governor Roy Cooper is calling on Republican state lawmakers to take a look at legislation to help prevent mass shootings in this state. We take a look at what the legislation means, and in one case, might it make it more difficult for someone to buy a handgun? Those stories and much more beginning, guys, at the top of the hour.
All right, thank you, David. 7 people accused in the 9th Congressional District made their first appearances in a Wake County courtroom today.
WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie was at that hearing and is now live in Raleigh with what happened. Laura?
Gerald and Catherine, McCrae Dowless and 6 people who worked for him in Bladen County are facing multiple felony charges. That's after an SBI investigation into ballot tampering in last fall's election for the 9th congressional seat.
Dowless is facing the most charges: perjury, solicitation to commit perjury, 2 counts felony obstruction of justice, conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice, and possession of an absentee ballot. That's on top of other charges from the 2018 primary election and the 2016 elections. James Singletary and Ginger Eason were each charged with conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice and possessing an absentee ballot. Lisa Britt also faces those 2 charges, as well as voting as a felon. Jessica Dowless was charged with conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice and swearing falsely. Woody Hester was charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice and possessing an absentee ballot. And Kelly Hendricks was charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice and 2 counts of possessing an absentee ballot. Authorities say Dowless and the others were engaged in an absentee ballot fraud scheme. The results of that election were thrown out by the state elections board in February.
Now, Dowless and the other 6 defendants declined to speak with reporters today. We don't yet have a date set for the trial on those charges. Back to you, Catherine.
All right, Laura Leslie, live in Raleigh. Laura, thank you.
Goldsboro has narrowed a list of roads to repair, costing about $1.3 million. Crews plan to target Oak Hill Drive and East Chestnut Street. If they can do it at a cheaper rate and in the next 3 months, the city will try to target additional streets.
I'm Mark Boyle in the Live Center, continuing to monitor the storms rolling through our area and watching pictures and viewer images and live pictures. This is 3D Tree View traffic right now. Look at the viewing area. This is the airport, and this is Interstate 40 coming into Raleigh, all red. It is a standstill. Let me switch the camera and show you right here, give you a live picture right here. So there's the eastbound coming in. These vehicles are not moving. It is a complete mess. That storm is essentially right over them. And you talk about the flash flooding issues and the heavy rain coming down. This is a Twitter picture our assignment desk just sent to me from Walnut Street near Cary Town Center in the Cary area. Draw your attention to this right here. This is how high the water has come, about halfway up the tire, clearly a construction zone. A lot of flooding out there right now. We are sending the breaking news tracker to check that out to see if it's impacted other homes or residences, businesses. We'll keep you posted as the storm moves through. Back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you.
A lot of people who live in those areas that typically flood are probably concerned right now.
Right, very heavy rain moving through Raleigh right in rush hour. I mean, it's very bad timing. This is some really heavy rain. We still have that flash flood warning in effect for parts of Wake County, including downtown Raleigh, until 7:30 this evening. We still have a couple of flood advisories as well. They include the city of Durham and down toward Fayetteville. Not really concerned with those right now. It's mainly this flash flood warning that is causing some major issues for our evening commute. You can see this heavy rain that stretches from about Holly Springs up into downtown Raleigh. It's moving into downtown Raleigh right now, up toward Wake Forest. Forest and into western parts of Franklin County and into the southern part of Vance County as well. This very slowly moving to the east. It is moving, but it's just moving very slowly. So here's the flash flood warning that we have in effect until 7:30 this evening. We've already had more than an inch of rain in a few spots, and an additional 2 inches or so is possible. That's why they issued this flash flood warning. We've already seen some pictures of some flooding going on across parts of the triangle. So the heaviest rain right now, again, is moving right into downtown Raleigh as you travel up toward the Wake Forest area, getting some very heavy rain. Also some frequent lightning with these at times as well. And down toward Holly Springs, getting some very heavy rain. Just around the Feltonville area, this is moving to the east as well. If you're in Holly Springs right now, you are about to get some very, very heavy rain over you. Let's go down to the south a little bit. Cumberland County is looking pretty good right now. Stedman's still getting a little bit of rain, but into Sampson County, we have some very heavy rain that's tracking to the east with some lightning in those as well. So let's take a look at the 3-hour rainfall totals so far. Close to 2 inches in a few spots, and we're adding to these. So some very heavy rain for some of you, but notice how many of you have had nothing, and that's been the case over the last several days. Some of you get these downpours, some of you get nothing. We're getting it in Raleigh right now, a flash flood warning in effect. This is downtown. You can't really see it very well, but that's downtown Raleigh. Some very heavy rain right during that evening commute. Here's Apex. I wanted to show you this, the rain letting up a little bit here in Apex. Still some dark clouds, still some wet roads. And Wake Forest, we showed you earlier that there wasn't any rain just yet, but now the rain is coming down here in Wake Forest, some gray clouds and some heavy rain. Send us your pictures. Post them to the WRAL Weather Facebook page. This was sent in from Pat in Elm City. Send us your pictures. Let us know what the weather's like in your area. If it's safe to do so, step outside and send those to us. We love showing those. I want to point out the water vapor just to show you this area of red here. This is some dry air. That's going to move in for tomorrow. So our rain chances will go down tomorrow, about a 20% chance for Tuesday. If you're about to take the dog out for a walk, you might want to rethink that. For some of you, we have those scattered storms, pockets of heavy rain, temperatures in the low 70s for some of you, 80s where we do not have the rain. Fog possible tonight once we get done with these thunderstorms, temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Your morning commute should be rain-free, but we'll have some fog to contend with, 70s in the morning tomorrow. And then the evening commute, hopefully it's going to be a little bit better than today. Just some isolated storms. It's going to be hot, a high temperature around 90 tomorrow. 91 for that high on Wednesday. We go back up to a 40% chance for some thunderstorms on Wednesday. Thursday, 92 for the high, just a slim chance for rain. And it looks like we're going to stay in the 90s into the weekend and into next week. But boy, it is rough out there this evening. Mike and I will be at the top of our 5 o'clock newscast here on WRAL with an update on what the radar looks like, who's under any warnings. All right.
Well, we've seen so much flooding this summer.
Yes, absolutely. Amy, thank you. Sure.
A special surprise for children at a summer camp. The Grammy Award-winning musician who is helping these children find their own rhythm.
Plus, you can protect your privacy through Alexa, how to make sure Amazon workers aren't listening to your conversations. We'll show you the setting you need to change.
Back now on WRAL, this is the WRAL Gardens. I like to refer to it as the WRAL Par 3, a well-manicured golf hole. Still beautiful in all this rain, though. What's not beautiful, the traffic. It is coming down in buckets. Depending on where you live, traffic could be a bear.
Well, today, the man who pleaded guilty to mailing packages containing pipe bombs faced sentencing. Cesar Sayoc was sentenced to 20 years in prison. He admitted to sending packages to CNN, Hillary Clinton, President Obama, and numerous critics of President Trump ahead of the 2018 midterm elections. The judge concluded the bombs were purposefully designed not to explode.
Family and friends gathered today to pay their respects to Saoirse Kennedy. The 22-year-old granddaughter of the late Robert F. Kennedy died Thursday. The autopsy found no signs of trauma, and officials are waiting on the toxicology report. Today's private service was held at Our Lady of Victor Church in Massachusetts. The church has hosted funerals and wakes for several Kennedys.
Some really incredible video here. A curious little boy got the shock of his young life when he stepped on a broken manhole cover. It was all captured on video by a surveillance camera. This happened in China. The 3-year-old boy and his parents were walking down the street when the boy ran toward that broken manhole, as you saw, and stepped on it, instantly disappeared. And as you can see, panic broke out. His father rushed over, rescued the child, who only had minor injuries. Crews quickly blocked off that manhole cover after the incident and fixed it, but incredible. I'm trying to put myself in the parents' position.
Yeah, hit his
there 1
face
second.
on the side of that outer
goodness,
rim there.
very scary.
Amazon is responding to customers' concerns that some of its workers listen to Alexa audio recordings. Now customers can opt out of having their Alexa voice recordings reviewed by third parties. You can do that by going to Alexa settings and tapping Alexa privacy. Tap Manage How Your Data Improves Alexa, then turn off the toggles next to Help Improve Amazon Services and Develop New Features. I know it's a lot to remember. You can also delete your voice recordings through the app or through Amazon's website.
Well, kids at a Kentucky summer camp got a big surprise from a Grammy-winning musician.
Yeah, Donnie Markham used to be a camper herself at the Louisville Leopard Percussionist Camp. She said it helped her get started in the music world as she helped campers find their own rhythm.
So this is for the Maria Quiero Saber song. Who's gonna shake Ray? Okay, shake Ray. We'll need somebody just holding down like quarter notes on cowbell. Right now we're just gonna learn the cowbell part together. So we're gonna clap. I started playing when I was 8, and I discovered music through this program, and I come back because I love it. I love to see kids discovering music, discovering their love for music, being able to, from an early age, learn how important it is to express yourself.
I always liked playing the drums. I grew up in church, and I always paid attention to the drummer. And I ended up playing the drums at my church. My mom, she always used to take me to the Leopards concerts when they were the Fabulous Leopard Percussionists. So I was always attracted to that, and they would always bring like the shakers out into the crowd, and I was always eager to just like get some shakers in my hand, like I want to be a part of this.
1, 2, 3, here we go. I first discovered my love for rhythm as soon as I understood that like we were learning these patterns and these rhythms and putting them to these mallet instruments. I was like, this makes sense to me.
Social media and how everything is going, that you always feel like you're being judged. You're here to do what you want to do. You're here to express yourself how you want to express. And it's just good
you're encouraged to.
Yeah, and you're encouraged to. That's the
that.
biggest thing. You're encouraged to do that.
Cut. Let's try that.
Very cool. Markham is part of Childish Gambino's band and had a chance to perform live at the 2018 Grammys. She also has been a musical guest on Saturday Night Live.
Right now at 5, 2 communities broken by mass shootings and killings, trying to begin the process of healing. The latest on the investigations. Plus,
we're afraid to go out to Walmart. We're afraid to go out to the street because we feel like we're being hunted. I mean, because our color, our skin color.
We take a closer look at the rise of online hate groups and how the ideologies can lead to devastating consequences in the real world. Mike?
Well, Deb, heavy rain across Wake County has prompted a flash flood warning. The dual Doppler 5000 radar shows the rain, but good news, the rain is weakening. We'll have a closer look at that warning and who could see more heavy rain that's coming up.
This is WRAL News, your #1 source for local news.
Let's take